Morning, everyone. Welcome to Disney Morning Show, where we talk about too many shows, man. And they all start with Disney. So I say the word Disney, and then I'm like, what am I doing now? Where we are going to talk about what's going on in the world of Disney over the past day or so. My name is Doobie Mosley, co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is Kyle Burbank, the managing editor. How you doing, Kai Kai?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's been an exciting morning. I prep these shows the previous night, and that's when I schedule them, and that's when I create that. I'm now in the habit of doing these thumbnail collages, completely out of date. All our top stories are not on that collage because everything changed this morning. But that's good. It's a fun, exciting morning. Let's get to it as fast as we can. Let's get the stock out the way. Let's get the weather out the way, and we'll get to the good stuff. Okay, Kai, what do you say? I saw that, I'm going to give you a hint. I saw that the market reached a 52-week high. I guess we're off to a good Christmas shopping season. So given that the market overall is doing very well, how is Disney doing within 25 cents?
90, what did I say yesterday? 91.50. Let's go 92.50.
92.50. Nailed it. Within 20 cents. 92.70. Way to go, Kyle. Money at 30.
Up 6% for year to date, while the S&P 500 has gone way above that, as I learned while reading CNBC this morning.
I noticed that same paragraph at the bottom. Up 6%. Well below market.
Yeah.
The thrill of victory, the agony defeat. But at least they're still in business. Can't say that about Theranos, can you? All right. Let us do your... what was the one, the guy who just went... I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter.
Here's Ethan.
Good morning and welcome to another LP Disney weather report. It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, "Won't see another one." And then he sang a song, the rare old Mountain Dew. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one. Came in 18-1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas. I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true. Let's get to the weather. Anaheim will reach a high of 67 today with sunny skies in the day and clear skies at night. Walt Disney World, which we'll go live to in just a few minutes, will make it up to 75 today and will be partly cloudy. In other words, it will be much more Doobie friendly today than it has been lately. Castaway Cay is playing a repeat today, with a high of 80 and low of 76. Disneyland Paris will see showers and light rain on and off this evening. Plus, the sub-40-degree temperatures also aren't doing them any favors. What's the opposite of a Doobie pick of the day? How about a Doobie's nightmare of the day? Tokyo will be mostly cloudy tomorrow and will be in the low 50s for most of the day. Shanghai is in for a sunny one tomorrow, but they won't break 50 degrees and will see a low of 39. Lastly, Hong Kong will make its way into the 70s tomorrow, but barely. It could also be a bit breezy.
I'm breezy.
And that will do it for another Disney weather report. I don't really have anything else to say at the moment, so I'll just say bye for now.
What happened to the hashtag Ethan is Indy?
He's laying low for a bit. The fifth one didn't do so well. So I think maybe he's hanging up that hat for a bit. Maybe he's going to pelts it and come back in a few months even stronger than ever.
Right, so Ethan said we're going live to Tony. I can't wait to see my favorite person.
Let me see. Let me pull him up. He is in the green room. Let's go to him.
Hey, thanks, guys. Tony here. In case you've been sleeping all day, at least on the East Coast or maybe on the West, and this is your first source of news, there has been a new, highly anticipated, long-awaited addition to Florida's mansion. Take a look.
Your time has come. Master away.
That's right, the Hatbox Ghost, after a long wait, finally has arrived in Florida's Haunted Mansion for all to enjoy. Remember, he's always been there. He's not an additional ghost. It's not 1,000. He's always been there. Now, if you excuse me, I have a parade to catch. So long, guys. From Disney World, Magic Kingdom, Haunted Mansion. See you guys later.
Thank you very much, Tony. Wish you could have hung around to take a couple of questions, but that's okay. I realize you're a busy man. Thank you for coming to us live from the Magic Kingdom with much better quality video than we normally get for those spots. So I cut out a little bit. He said something about he's always been there. What do you say after that?
Yeah, so the story is that the Hatbox Ghost has always resided there. He just didn't let himself be known until now. So he's not a new ghost. He's just materializing for the first time.
That turn of phrase. All right. Well, so he finally arrived. They said he would be coming in late November. What's today's date?
November 30th. And 30
They
days
did
have
this. At least-
September, April, June, and November.
At least they did it. I mean, they could have waited till like the end of the day too. So they had it the morning of November 30th. Crud. I was going to say something about the Hatbox. I don't remember.
Yeah, I
What
know
do you think
a
of
lot
him?
people are still angry about this because there's no real reason why he should be at Magic Kingdoms, and they also don't like the placement because Madame Leota does the thing to make the ghost materialize, and they tried to explain that away, being like, "Oh no, he's a rascal. He does whatever he wants. He doesn't care. He's not a friendly ghost, a happy haunt." So yeah, and so now that he's there, you have some people that are excited for it, and other ones that are complaining. Which
I wanted
seems to be that's what we do as Disney fans.
If Tony were still around, unfortunately he's not. What I really wanted to know from him, in addition to seeing the ghost, was what was it like out there? Were people in anticipation of this since it was given to be late November and this was as late as it gets? Was it kind of crowded? And then once word got out, was there just a rash of people in Haunted Mansion? So we'll never know. I'll ask him privately and then maybe I'll share it with you tomorrow. All right, Hatbox Ghost, big news, yay. Always nice to start the show with some actual on-stage news before we get to the backstage drama. So yesterday, we let you know that Disney added 2 board members. Did we do that yesterday? Did we have a show?
No, it happened afterwards. And
All
we
right.
didn't. Wait, no, we didn't. We did do a show yesterday, but no, it happened.
We did do a show, but it happened after. So this is more your territory. So talk about the 2 board members and then what happened this morning.
Yeah, there's 2 new board members. I cannot be bothered to know either one of their names, and they'll be taking, or well, they have to be elected and ratified, but yeah, they'll be taking place in, I think, January and February respectively. And one of the other board members, at least, is not running for re-election. And nevertheless, despite apparently our good friend, sarcastically, Nelson Peltz, who you might remember from earlier this year, he was looking for a board seat, and then he gave up that fight before it got to the shareholder meeting. Well, he's back, and this time he wants 2 board seats. This is, we were talking about Die Hard yesterday. This is like Die Hard with a vengeance because he is now managing Ike Perlmutter's shares. And the last time that we had this fight, Ike was still a Disney employee. Ike is no longer a Disney employee. He was laid off in the layoffs that Nelson Peltz was basically calling for. And so there's if you read Disney's statements, they basically point this out, being like, yeah, he's managing shares for this person who was fired or laid off earlier this year. So they might not have the same goals as a normal shareholder. That was really their only response. So another little proxy fight. I don't know what to think.
Who
of
knows?
it. I'm not smart.
So when Peltz was making his hay a few months ago, it was in an effort to get rid of Bob Iger. Now he's looking for 2 board seats. We know he's not exactly thrilled with the way Iger's been running the company lately, which I know a lot of Disney fans aren't, but don't get too excited. His not thrilled and you're not thrilled may have very different ends. So you're not necessarily, even if you're not happy with Iger, you're not necessarily rooting for him. But anyway, we've got some excitement. Is this perhaps the most excitement we've had in the boardroom and at an upcoming shareholder meeting since back in the Eisner days?
So I was laughing because I was just thinking what I was talking about, him getting laid off and the layoffs that he called for, and then the very pants I had just purchased.
Which reminds me of a question I wanted to ask you, Kyle. Are you a fan of the Christmas shoe song?
No.
Okay. Is anyone a
I
fan
don't
of
think
Christmas?
anybody is. I'm sure somebody's grandmother is.
I remember what I was going to say. Now that someone has posted that reminded me of where my head was. Do we need to say anything about Tony's shirt?
No, he paid for it. He made a point to tell me that he paid for it.
Thank you very much for making it. Morgan Holman, who is still Holman, says nobody really knew about the materialization this morning, so crowds weren't bad. You could definitely tell it was picking up though, and it'll probably pick up more now that guests can park up. So thank you, Morgan, who apparently was on the scene as well, and appreciate that very much. Okay. Let's get back on stage. So I think and Rita Moreno was scheduled.
No, it was Anne Murray.
Anne Murray. How in
Right.
the world did I confuse those two people?
But yes, so she was supposed to perform the 28th and 29th, and instead she did the 28th, but then the 29th, Ashley Eckstein popped in, and our own Jeremiah Good just happened to be there because the restraining order has not kicked in quite yet, and he was able to get video of her entire performance. You can watch that on our YouTube.
Yeah, his punishment for being even that close is he had to leave the state. So he is now far away.
I think he would have to leave the country next. We're joking, but no, Jeremiah is a big Ashley Eckstein fan and has been friendly with her, so we just joke with him. But yeah, and then there's been another change. Apparently, Simu Liu, who is supposed to be doing it, I don't know if it was tonight or I think in the next couple.
I think this upcoming weekend.
Okay, yeah, he was supposed to do it, and I had to drop out. So they're being he's been replaced by someone else, I think from the band Mercy Me.
He's been replaced by Bart Millard, who's the lead singer of the Christian music band Mercy Me.
I was correct. How about that? Didn't know his name, but I knew his band.
And he was, if you don't recognize the name, he is known to Disney fans as
the guy
one
from
who dropped
Mercy Me.
out. The one who dropped out.
Simu Liu is Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. I wanted to see.
I was like, I don't know the guy. I was like, what are you getting at? Is there some sort of thing that he did at like Night of Joy that I'm not aware of?
I wanted to hear Ashley just a little bit. Do I have it? Come on,
As
YouTube.
Ahsoka Tano once said.
And the angel said to them, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord."
I can only imagine how much it meant to her to be able to do a candlelight procession. I'm so happy for her. And so happy for Jeremiah. He probably was the second happiest person in the world seeing her do candlelight procession. All right, so that's candlelight. Still going on. Usually goes on through December 30th. I'm sure that's how long it's going this year. Next up, we're staying on stage. All right, so yesterday we got the first on-ride footage for, what is this called? Zootopia Hot Pursuit, coming to Shanghai Disneyland. Pretty good looking attraction. Some video was put out by a Chinese media outlet that made its way around the internet. And, let's take a look at some of it here while we talk about it a little bit. Hopefully it plays pretty well. With my luck. So kind of reminds me of Runaway Railway, at least this part. What did you think of it, Kyle?
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so Kyle didn't watch it, so he can't tell us what he thought. There's a lot of screens in it, but towards the end, it has one absolutely amazing animatronic, and here she is. That's just I've seen some complaints about the screens, which I understand, but this animatronic is
Well, they gotta try everything, Doobie.
That's good.
That first effect that we saw where the car like went through, that reminds me of Mater. In Radiator Springs, where he backs up and then you see him in the next scene.
Very true. So anyway, it looks like a decent attraction. A lot of screens, and some people don't love that, but it looks like a pretty major attraction. It's not just a cheapo, which is always
they have real animatronics. It's not just watching a movie. I don't know.
It opens December 20th. Will LP be there? You know?
I don't know if we'll be there on the 20th. I feel like we might be there relatively soon, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But someone will be going to Zootopia Land.
Luke looks, Manning, who's British, looks like a good blending of screens and physical sets to me.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I remember when they added screens to Alice in Wonderland, and I thought that was just so cool. And then everybody started hating it, which I know there's difference when there's big things, but like
Right.
Shanghai Pirates has a bunch of screens, and that works.
No,
Oh.
no one complains about that one. Disney Recaps, who I have no idea how she's able to do this since she's on her way somewhere, says more hip hop motion than I can muster. More hip motion, not hip hop. Hip hop. Not me. I'm a dancer. Where are you right now, Disney Recaps? Are you still in the midpoint, or are you back on an airplane and doing magical stuff? Let's see. I am very lost this morning. Oh, British. Luke Manning, British. So,
Okay,
Community is in this Doctor Who phase. And
it's
it needs-
Inspector Space Time.
They just went to the convention.
Okay,
Okay,
so you're in
fair
season
enough.
4. So do you know the story of season 4?
No.
Okay, Dan Harmon was let go at the end of season 3, and they brought in 2 other showrunners for season 4. But Dan Harmon returns for season 5. So, spoiler alert: season 4 is therefore referred to as the gas leak year going forward. So you'll notice it's a little bit off. There's some like decent episodes, and I find out like when I rewatch it, I'm like, oh, I quote this all the time, just as much as any other episode. But there's some things like the fans of the hardcore fans of Community don't like season 4 as much because they can tell that it's just a little off.
I would not consider myself a hardcore fan of Community, but I also do not like season 4 as much. The Panic Room episode, not good. Anyway,
yeah, that one's probably my
am
least favorite. There is the one that's kind of the consensus like worst episode, like on a lot of lists, is a puppet episode that's coming up. But rewatching it, I actually like it more and more. There's a season 5 episode that might actually be my least favorite, but the puppet episode, like I sing the song all the time. It's a Sarah Bareilles banger.
Is the whole thing done as puppet?
No, there's puppet parts, and it goes back to the real world.
There's only
Jason
one episode.
Alexander's in it.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a plus. There's only one episode I've skipped so far. Now I feel like I need to go back and watch it because I'm determined to finish this whole thing. Is the claymation episode. So, but I think I'm going to go back and watch it so I can say I've seen all of Community.
Well, see,
but
the
it's
good news
getting
is you
harder.
made it past the long seasons. The last 3 are only 13 episodes each. So
I noticed that yesterday. We're like 2/3 done.
they go real fast.
Also, Ken Young, is that his name?
Jong.
His part gets smaller and smaller, and I appreciate that very much.
And I will another joke spoiler alert, but there's a part in season 6 where they're like, wait, you used to this was a study group? You used to be their teacher? He's like, frankly, haven't been well utilized since.
Yesterday there was the line, didn't this used to be a show about a community college?
Yeah.
I was watching something and said that, and I laughed out loud at that. Rebecca comes back in the room. You finally laughed out loud. What did I miss? Anyway, have a safe flight, hun. On the plane while boarding completes. Love you. Good flight to your destination. All right, let's continue on back. I don't know what she wants people to know. Not that who cares, but still, no need to say. All right, Disneyland. Michael Celestino was at Disneyland yesterday, so he got a few updates for us. We got to look at some pin trading setup over in Frontierland.
Yeah, so this is actually there's now designated pin trading areas. Before that, people would take over benches and tables. So now they're making it a little bit more. If you want to do this, go over here. Don't steal the bench from people.
If you're gonna do it over here. We'd rather you not.
It's like a smoking area, but for pin trading.
Exactly. We'd rather you
do
not.
it away from the guests.
But if you're going to do it. Oh, wow. Well, she didn't say that there. My wife is on an empty flight. And so they said, don't change seats for balance. Interesting. Not necessarily what I want to hear. All right. Also at Disneyland, Mike Celestino got pictures of the construction going on at the Astro Orbiter. And the best part of this construction is they have adorned the walls with the history of the area, which I think is pretty cool. Some photographs from back in the day. We used to be here. in the years. Disneyland playing on its nostalgia, its history. I like that a lot. I don't know. Do you have any idea what they're doing at the Astro Orbiter?
I don't know. I think it's just a. I don't know what they're doing on the sides of the Astro Orbiter. I think this is just a regular one. And people were kind of freaked out because it says reopening winter 2024. But I don't think that means like a year. I think that means a few months because February 2024 is still winter.
Right. It's got to mean that.
I mean, I don't know for sure. It doesn't actually say on the Disneyland site. It just says that it's closed for refurbishment. But I don't.
I think of winter. If you were to divide a year into months, which is right into seasons,
Okay.
where the seasons have to be consecutive, then winter would be the first season.
Yeah.
So, sure. Also at Disneyland, San Francisco has been the thing just opened and already they got to do holiday decorations. I love that they bothered to do it though. There you go.
Nice.
It is nice.
There's
Very
plenty more
pretty.
photos, and there's they're all very lovely.
Like 45 different angles of the same Christmas trees. Oh no, there's more. They did more. Check that out. Thanks, Mike, for doing the hard work, going to 2 parks in one day. And finally,
It's so hard to park up at the Disneyland Resort as well. If you've never done it before, it's
let's see if we can get this to play. He went to Batu and saw a really fun.
if you can
interaction.
believe it. Mike
I know.
Celestino spending time in Batu.
Never happens. Did a really fun recorded a really fun interaction with Chewbacca and Ray. Oh my goodness. And the some of the guests in Batu. That was not intentional.
Where Ray and Chewie are giving lessons in Shriwook, which is the Wookiee language. Wow.
My wife taught me that. I will say that. What? That was something very good. That's excellent. Oh, that's so sweet. Did you hear that one? He's there. No? That was good.
And see, you could have seen this live if you rang the bell and got notified every time we go live here on Laughing Place. Because yeah, that was during one of our park walk and talks.
It was. Yeah, they caught that during a live walk and talk. And then Rebecca right away said, "That's really cool." And cut it
A
out.
supersized park walk and talk, I must say.
Pretty decent. You know the frustrating thing about walk and talks? You know, the audience gets bigger the longer you go. But we got to end it. So we usually end it at
Especially
peak
when we're
audience
using
time.
payroll people instead of you.
That hurt a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, gotta check this message. Okay. All right. Anything else happening in the world? I'm going to skip that story. It's pretty irrelevant. Anything going on this morning? It's been such a busy morning. Anything new?
Aside from the stuff that you're purposely skipping, I don't think so.
Posted just since we started. Let me see. Oh, Bob Iger comments on Chapek tenure and more at NYT's Deal Summit.
That was from yesterday, but we published it today.
Get a little more Disneyland here. What just happened there? Did I do that?
We did post video of the Wish pre-show for Season of Light that you could check out on our YouTube channel that you're already on. And this is photos from the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, which you really have to. It's almost a tongue twister every time. So I'm proud that I got it all on the first try.
Yep, holidays have arrived there. This is also where Santa hangs out there. So go check that out. We are pleased now. He has made the long flight from the Magic Kingdom back to his home in sunny Orlando. Are you ready to join us down there? All right, let's bring on Tony Betty, who could not join us from the park live, but can join us now.
What are you talking about? He was live.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, Tony. Let me get rid of this stupid thing. All right.
Hi,
Tony.
You had some questions. Lay them on me, my man.
Well, your lovely wife, apparently still goes by her maiden name, answered it. But I'll let you answer. What were the crowds like? Did people know this was coming? Was it pretty packed over there?
So, we were there for the rope drop today. And so we were at the Liberty Square Bridge, and there was one person in full Haunted Mansion regalia kind of telling people this is an early entry here today. It's Fantasyland and Tomorrowland only, and nobody moved. And then you realize, oh, because everybody knows her because from the Haunted Mansion cast members. So it was really just a couple people who were informed ahead of time, and then a lot of Haunted Mansion cast members who were ready to experience this.
So I know you got some great job with the video. I mean, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Coming in, coming out, perfect job, zoomed in. Couldn't be happier with that. What was it like in person?
Well, because nobody knew, there was not a lot of crowd, so we were able to go on it multiple times and get that great video. Thank you for that. But most of the time I was watching behind a screen, so which I advise nobody do. If you're familiar with California's mansion, I'm screaming because I have both my earplugs in. I'm sorry. If you're
It's like
familiar with
80s and people are getting used to wearing headphones for the first time.
If you are familiar with California's mansion, when you come out of the attic, he's right there, and it's kind of up close and personal. This one's pulled back, and it seems further away.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. I had another one. Help me out, Kyle. Ask him anything while I think.
Oh, it's just the thing about this again with the placement is that because he's in the attic, like you're going to be standing in front of it and pulling back for a while, so you're going to totally see. This one, it felt like it's very easy to miss the transition. Like it feels like it could have been sped up a little bit. Did you?
The first time was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. The second time we only saw his head on his head.
Yeah.
And then the third time, which I got for our live video there, I think you see it switch.
Yeah, so I felt like they could have sped up that cycle a little bit to make sure everybody.
And I don't know if it's just me noticing it more because I had a target in mind to film.
Yeah.
But the Doom Buggies, I felt wobbled a lot more. So as you're like looking at him, you're just like spinning around again, and then
So I want, since we have you and you're kind of Mr. Artsy here at Laughing Place, being an animator and an artist and all that, this is actually a story for tomorrow, but maybe you got to see this in person today, and we have an article. What do you think of the 2024 line?
I think somebody pointed this out already. It reminds me of that D23 teaser.
It doesn't just remind you of it. It literally takes things from it. And actually, Jamie, if you scroll down in the article, you'll see a photo of that poster that we're talking about.
Do that.
So that could be why it reminds me of it.
Yeah.
Wow. So if you look at like Buzz and Dumbo, they're reused, and then the Mickey, also there's some Mickey merchandise, and it's the same face. Obviously that's Minnie, but there is a Mickey elements and some of the other things, and it's the same thing.
So you're not that fond of this, is what you're saying, Tony?
It's very for something dated 2024, it screams 1993. So
I agree with that. I really like that. So that poster that you saw a picture of, that's hanging on my wall. I like that a lot. Seeing this version of it, I don't. It's not my favorite, but I also am open to the idea. Like none of the pieces that I look through really scream to me, but I don't dislike them.
She's not in the room right now. I'll speak for her. If you saw, I know somebody compiled the post, but I spotted more of the 2024 merchandise at the park today. If you pull that up, there's a set of mouse ears in there. Those seem to be winning some attention. So,
yeah, and this collection, it showed up at Walt Disney World. You said that you had to go to like a few places.
It's not in one spot yet.
Yeah, and it's going to be on Shop Disney on Monday.
We found some items in the Main Street Cinema store at Magic Kingdom. We found some items in Star Trader in Tomorrowland, and we found some items in Storybook Circus. So yeah, we kind of bounced all over as soon as we were tasked with look for more of this 2024 merchandise. So surprisingly, really nothing in the Emporium. So
that is surprising.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about your visit today, Tony?
To Haunted Mansion or Walt Disney World as a whole?
Walt Disney World as a whole.
So as we were leaving, we decided to get on the bright idea of jumping on the monorail loop to Epcot. And because it was announced, hey, we installed Walt. He'll be here on December 5th for all to enjoy. Well, if you could see him from, or if he's supposed to be from Spaceship Earth looking out, in theory, we could see him on the monorail. So we jumped on the monorail. And if you check out our Twitter, you might be able to pull up a picture real quick. You could see him there straight out on his bench, not his steps like the concept art showed, but on his bench.
So how do you feel about that change?
That's one of those ones where I'm like, I like the idea of the steps and him being in a planter like Partners is, but the idea of him on the bench for more photo pass accessibility is kind of a little jarring. But it goes back to the argument people make that why can't Disney just stick to their concept art? And it's something so simple. Why couldn't they just stick to it? But I guess it was demanded that people are able to sit with him. So
people will want to sit with him. That is a fact.
My only concern is it's at Epcot, where people climb pyramids and where people there's a bar culture that's kind of invading Epcot right now with all the festivals. So I'm curious to see, but I'm pretty sure it'll be manned by a number of PhotoPass cast members. So
they should have a peanut stand so you can sit on a bench eating peanuts with him.
So I know Roy.
There's going to be a food and wine chili cart next door.
Roy can be sat with at the Magic Kingdom, but Partners obviously. Is this the first Walt statue that you can sit next to in the park?
Kyle can answer that one.
Hong Kong Disneyland, as of a month ago.
Oh, of course, they just installed a similar thing. It's amazing how small he looks back there. Just
Roy is also with Minnie, and the pose doesn't make it comfortable to sit with them, if I remember it right.
But people do.
Yeah, people do. Yeah.
It's just weird how tiny he looks back there in the shadow.
Far. It's zoomed in.
Like he's easy to miss. I mean, I realize this is not.
Well, that's why he said, "Where's Walter?"
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna make that a book.
The concept art just it makes it look like they're going to build this enormous Walt in the middle of Epcot, and instead we just got life-size Walt, kind of like what happened with Journey of Water too. Frankly.
I'm curious to see when this is inevitably full of people in a week or so, if you'll still be able to see it from the monorail as clearly as you could here. But yeah.
And do you think it's going to be a PhotoPass place with a constant line?
1,000%. 1,000%. Look at Partners, look at Storytellers, look at all the other ones. 1,000%. And it's going to be more so because you can sit with him.
Kind of like
did Kyle mention I paid for this shirt?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He did. But since we've mentioned the shirt twice, well, you paid for that one, which
I love Roosevelt's regardless. That's why I'll still pay for them.
But Roosevelt has certainly given Laughing Place several shirts,
yes.
So we should mention that since we've now mentioned them twice. Before we let you go, I know you've got so many stories to work on, but can you stick around for 5 minutes to play this Name Disney History with us?
Sure.
All right, let's do that.
Are we going to intro it?
I'm trying, man.
Okay.
So, you got to give Doobie some leeway. We've only been doing this for like...
So I'm feeling very off today. I don't feel tired at all, but I did wake up at 3:30 this morning to take my wife to the airport. So while I don't feel tired, I think it's clear I am not at my sharpest that I've ever been. All right. On this day in Disney history, someone was born. Very important to the Walt Disney Company, although never a Disney employee as far as I know. But there's at least one animatronic of them. There's an island named after one of his creations. 1835.
Okay, it's Samuel Clemens.
It is Samuel Clemens. It is
an island. Where's the island?
Tom Sawyer Island.
That's not named after him. That's named after one of his.
I said named after one of his creations.
Okay, I missed that part. I just heard named after him. Sorry.
Yeah, he has his own attraction. So here he is, 1835.
Artwork.
Doobie, can you do it?
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
What is that? Is that 2 meters deep or 2 feet deep?
You're the sailor.
Me and Mike Celestino had this conversation.
You old sailor, you.
I'll get to. I'll say it tomorrow. On this day in 1927, a Disney actor.
This day in Disney history, we'll do it tomorrow.
Disney 1927. No, I wanted to talk about Bob Iger's comments on Chapek, but I'll save it for tomorrow, even though it happened yesterday. Robert Guillaume was born, so I just gave you the answer. On this day in 1927, Robert Guillaume was born, the voice of Rafiki, died in 2017.
And he also appeared on Sports Night, an ABC show that is my favorite show of all time.
But more importantly, he is Benson from one of the greatest sitcoms of all time that for some reason has completely disappeared and you can't watch anywhere now. Life's not fair. Either of you ever seen Benson?
A long time ago. Not enough to like be like, oh, I like this episode, like you guys were with Community a few moments ago.
Have you seen? Are you a Community fan?
I've seen a few episodes, and those I've enjoyed it. So,
Right. On this day in 1952, the answer is this is a behind-the-scenes movie maker, and the answer to one of the best trivia questions, one of my favorite trivia questions. Every Disney fan loves this trivia question once they know it.
A behind-the-scenes movie maker?
Not an actor.
Disney apostrophe.
So is it
California
Al
Adventure.
Michaels?
No, he was an on-screen. This is not a guy who's on screen.
Okay.
Wait, so what's the actual question?
Was born on this day in 1952.
Okay.
And is a Disney movie maker?
He has made at least one Disney movie
Giacchino?
that many people assume was made by someone else, but it was actually
Tim
so
Burton.
it's
Henry Selick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He is the answer to the trivia question. Yes. Everyone loves this question.
Selick,
Once
by
they
the
learn
way,
it.
like Tom, but
no mustache.
yep.
Have something
And that's
for them.
Coraline.
Where is it?
What was the movie he did last year?
Now, just a minute.
Thank you for the correction, Tony. And finally, on this day in 1988, a television show debuted on-
Wendell and Wild, I think was the one he did last year. Sorry. Anyway,
1988, a TV show.
1988, a TV show debuted on the Disney Channel
Dumbo Circus.
that went on to have a much more stellar run on a different network.
Oh, Saved by the Bell. Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Good Morning, Miss Bliss debuted.
Good
on
job,
this
Kyle.
day
I wouldn't have got that one after a while.
1988. And TIL, let's see if this cues up right. Did you know who was in the pilot for Good Morning, Miss Bliss?
Someone who just had a birthday this week.
That's right. Urkel himself was in the pilot for this show.
He's got a first name, and it's Steve.
Stefan. Yes, Steve, you're right. Steve Urkel himself was in this episode. I don't know if he was a regular on the show, but who
And
knew?
voice of the animated television series Sonic the Hedgehog.
This is why we
Both
need you
of
here,
them.
Tony. You're like a kidder in person. All right. Anything else before we mercifully end this thing? And I can go back to my hibernation. Quick check.
There's a
of
South
Twitter.
Park character named Kyle.
It's true.
If I'm doing
Kyle
kidder facts.
Bar.
Disney accounts have not posted to Twitter since in the last 46 minutes. So coincidence?
Oh.
Did they do anything with the Hatbox Ghost? Because I know they said there was something coming.
Disney Parks has not tweeted at all. I shouldn't say that. They've tweeted since the comments, but they have not tweeted this morning. Their last tweet was 3 hours ago, Disney Parks.
Well, let me check their Instagram, but there wasn't anything
5
there
hours
last
ago
I
they
checked.
had
There's
a
nothing on their
Zootopia.
Instagram.
Okay. There is on ours. If you want a clip of just the ghost, go check out our Instagram.
I thank my wife for that one. I was doing the horizontal video because we didn't know how many shots we were going to get at it. So I was doing the horizontal. She did the vertical.
That ride is so dark that when I saw the vertical video in the Google folder, I didn't realize it was horizontal. It was vertical until I loaded it into Premiere because it just the thumbnail just looked like it would.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Tony, very much for your time. I know you must be so behind now after such a busy morning. So good luck catching up. And we'll be back tomorrow morning. Any shows today?
No. I checked to see if there were any shows that Ethan should tell Ethan about to plug, and that's how I learned that you had a meeting. So
I'm so glad you did. We'll be back tomorrow. Should be at 9 o'clock our regular time. Until then, stay toasty.